When you're losing weight, you want to lose body fat. You do not want to lose muscle. This is called body recomposition, and there are 5 really important things that you need to know if this is your goal, especially if you want to make sure you have long-lasting results. Let's dive into it. My name's Autumn. I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's nutrition human performance, and today's video is sponsored by LMNT. More on them in a bit. Okay, the first thing that you need to do is you need to incorporate some type of resistance training. In order to not lose your muscle, you need to stimulate it. And specific types of exercise, especially those related to resistance training, does cause the muscle to break down a little bit, but that sends a signal to your body to then come and repair it and make it stronger and better than it was before. Now, a lot of people tend to lose a pretty significant amount of muscle mass when they're on their weight loss journey because they're just focused on the type of exercise that burns the most calories. Typically, this involves cardio and endurance training. But here's the thing, endurance training actually does nothing to help maintain your muscle mass. And you need that muscle mass to help your body become more metabolically flexible, help your body get better at switching back and forth between burning fat as fuel and carbohydrates as fuel. Plus, when you maintain or even slightly increase your muscle mass, it helps your body to better handle carbohydrates, which means that you're able to have more flexibility with the types of meals that you eat. So if you're looking to achieve a weight loss goal and you want to make sure that you're getting these benefits of having muscle mass in that process, then you want to make sure you're not just prioritizing endurance training or cardio. Instead, you want to add in some type of resistance training. And this can be a broad category of types of exercises. You could do just regular calisthenics with your body weight. You could use dumbbells or do boot camp classes or do CrossFit. There's free workouts on YouTube you could even do. There's a lot of options. You just want to make sure that you're getting every part of your body, your upper, your lower, your core, especially your lower body, because that is where we have a lot more muscle mass. So to get even more benefits, we want to make sure that our lower body is getting challenged as well. I've shared my favorite type of exercise routine in the past. If you guys want to check that out, I'll have it linked right up here. Or is it up here? I think it's up here. Okay, the second thing that you really need to make sure you're doing if you want to burn fat and not just muscle is to make sure that you're focusing on lower glycemic foods, but specifically lower glycemic load foods. And this step is really important to make sure that your body can more easily switch back and forth from burning fat and carbohydrates as fuel. Because by focusing on these lower glycemic load foods, it really helps to stabilize the blood sugar level. And when we have a more stable blood sugar level, the body can more easily then go back to burning fat as fuel. When we have a really high blood sugar level from higher glycemic load foods, it essentially pushes the body into just primarily using carbohydrates as a fuel source. In other words, not tapping into fat. Eating on the lower glycemic end also helps to stabilize cravings because you aren't going to have those really high and then subsequent very low blood sugar levels that can massively increase sugar cravings. So it also helps to make your journey a lot easier. And focusing on mostly lower glycemic load foods helps to make it so the insulin level, which is our storing hormone, doesn't get too excessively high. Now, depending on your activity level and if you're insulin resistant, you might be able to explore with some of the more medium glycemic load foods. So these would be things like lentils, beans, and sweet potatoes. If you're not insulin resistant and if you're very active, then you could probably incorporate some of those options. Otherwise, if there is some insulin resistance and if you're not very active, then you're probably going to want to stick with those low glycemic foods exclusively. In fact, I have a full list that goes over the different types of glycemic load options. If you guys want to check that out, I'll have that blog post linked down in the description below as well. Now, one thing that can happen when you do focus on lower glycemic foods is that it is pretty common to experience water and electrolyte loss as the insulin level starts to go down. This is where making sure that you're adequately hydrated as well as getting electrolytes is really important, which is why I'm a really big fan of today's sponsor, LMNT. LMNT is a really fantastic electrolyte company that was created with fasting, lower carb eating, and athletic performance in mind. You don't necessarily need to be an athlete to need electrolytes. Even just following intermittent fasting or lower carb eating, our electrolyte needs can really start to go up. I love that LMNT contains the sodium, the magnesium, and the potassium that helps to balance out those electrolyte levels, all while not having any added sugar, making it more ideal for a weight loss goal than a lot of those other kind of sketchy electrolyte drinks that come with like 15 grams of added sugar or more. Depending on the day, I'll personally use between 1 to 2 packets of LMNT, especially on days that I'm exercising more. Like the other day, I did a really intense stair workout followed by a kind of intense resistance training workout, and it was a bit hot and I could just feel that my electrolyte levels were off. My energy levels were pretty low. My body felt pretty fatigued. So I ended up having 2 LMNTs that day and I felt so much better. And right now, LMNT is offering my viewers a free sample pack with any order. That's 8 single serve packets free with any LMNT order. This is a really great way to test out all 8 flavors, so you can get yours at drinklmnt.com/autumn. This is only available through my link, so make sure to check out DRINKLMNT.com/autumn. I'll also have the link listed down description below. Okay, the third thing that you really need to keep in mind is to stop snacking. People think that snacking is helpful for a weight loss journey because it helps to prevent hunger, but this actually really couldn't be further from the truth. Eating small bits of food throughout the day never actually fully activates our satiety hormones. In fact, one study found that eating 3 full meals versus having 6 smaller meals, or in other words, grazing, was actually way better at helping to keep the participants satisfied and not hungry. And if you can be on a weight loss journey and not have to be hungry all the time, this makes your whole experience so much more simple. Plus, when you're constantly snacking throughout the day, it can cause the body to get these little hits of the storing hormone insulin all throughout the day as well. And when insulin is raised, it shuts off our fat burning process called lipolysis, making it so that the body spends less time in that fat burning state and more time in that carbohydrate burning state. It also doesn't help that most snack products don't contain much protein, or at least high quality protein, and usually come with quite a bit of sugar or refined carbohydrates. This step alone has helped my clients see massive success with their body recomposition goals, especially when they then put their focus into eating high quality satiating meals and not having snacks. Okay, the fourth thing that you need to do if your goal is to lose body fat without losing muscle mass is to get enough protein. So we talked about the importance of getting that muscle stimulus, but if you don't actually have the tools to then repair that muscle, then it's just going to keep breaking down. So you need both the stimulus from exercise as well as the repair mechanisms through protein in order to help maintain or even slightly build muscle mass. You can't just eat protein and maintain muscle mass. You also can't just exercise and maintain muscle mass. You need both. So eating enough protein helps the body to maintain muscle mass, but it also helps the body to be more metabolically flexible because it helps to stabilize blood sugar. In fact, there's been studies showing that when you actually eat protein before having a more starchy food ingredient, that you tend to get a lot lower of a blood sugar spike than if you just had that starch first and then the protein later, or didn't have the protein at all. Eating adequate protein also helps prevent bone loss during the weight loss period, which is also very important. You don't want to be losing bone or muscle when you're looking to achieve a weight loss goal. You just want to be losing body fat. Now, I'll get clients all the time who say that they're eating enough protein, that they're really focused on it, and that they're looking at their protein intake. But then when we look a little deeper into what they're actually eating, a lot of the protein that they're eating comes from really low quality protein sources. So not just getting enough protein, but also focusing on high quality sources is really crucial, because something like peanut butter, although it technically does say it has protein on the label, is not the same type of protein you'll get from eating something like eggs. Now, if this concept is new to you, I also have a complete blog post on this. It's a very important concept to know and understand, so make sure you check that out. I'll also have that link down description below for you guys. A lot of resources for you in this video because this is a very important topic. In fact, to further emphasize this, there's a study that compared a vegetarian diet versus a more omnivorous diet. Both were eating the same amount of protein, but the study found that those who were eating an omnivorous diet actually had higher muscle mass and better quality muscle mass than those who were eating a vegetarian diet. And that was purely still by eating the exact same amount of protein. So it's not to say that you can't be a vegetarian and achieve your goals, but you really need to make sure you know about protein quality and that you're getting enough high quality protein. Okay, the fifth tool that can be really useful for this goal is to use intermittent fasting. Now, especially when we're looking at metabolic flexibility, which is the body's ability to more easily switch back and forth from burning fat and carbohydrates. Intermittent fasting can be a particularly great tool because we spend periodic times in a fasted state where insulin level is naturally going to be low and fat burning is going to be ramped up. Now, I typically recommend for a lot of people between 14 to 16 hours of intermittent fasting per day. I found that to be a sweet spot where you can still balance out enough protein and enough nutrients for your body's needs while still getting the benefits of a fasting period. Although I do have a free quiz to help you better understand what your ideal intermittent fasting length could be. I'll also have that linked down description below for you guys. Again, just so many resources, like so much awesome stuff in this video. Now, the timing of when you actually break your fast and start your fast also does seem to play a really big role. The type of intermittent fast that has been shown to be more beneficial is called early time restricted feeding. This is basically just where you don't break your fast super late in the day. So this could be like having an eating window of 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. instead of 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. This slightly earlier eating time better matches up with our circadian rhythm, so we get slightly higher cortisol levels in the morning, which is good, we want that, but then lower cortisol levels meals in the evening, which is also important for getting that high quality deep sleep to also promote better weight loss outcomes. In fact, if you want to check out more of my step-by-step details on intermittent fasting, you can check out this video next. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love this science-backed information, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video.